Hello everyone, welcome to the lab of heat and mass transfer in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, New Campus, University of Engineering and Technology, Lahore, Pakistan. My name is Mohammad Adil Munir, and today we will learn how to perform the experiment number 12 in this lab. The experiment number 12 is basically related to turbulent flow heat exchanger. So now we will move towards the statement, learning objectives, and all other details of experiment number 1. So the main experiment number 1 main statement is to calculate the logarithmic mean temperature difference, that is denoted by LMTD. This is our first statement, that we have to calculate the logarithmic mean temperature difference, global heat transfer coefficient, and effectiveness of turbulent flow heat exchanger. So we have to calculate these three parameters. One is LMTD, second is global heat transfer coefficient, and third is effectiveness of, and we will use the turbulent flow heat exchanger here. So there are two learning objectives. First of all, we will balance the energy in the turbulent flow heat exchanger. Balance means that we will balance all the heat in and heat out inside the heat exchanger, and then we will calculate the heat exchanger effectiveness by using one method that is called as NTU method, that is number of transfer units. So we will calculate the effectiveness of this heat exchanger by using this technique. So this is the operators we will use a turbulent flow heat exchanger, and it is its serial number is basically TIFT 0003/06. So we also will attach the main console unit with this heat exchanger, and we will use a one branded computer and the main interface as well. So I will show you all of these operators whenever we will move towards the lab. First of all, I want to describe here that there will be different kind of temperature sensors, thermocouple we will use here. In the heat exchanger, there are two kind of flow. One is hot water flow and second is cold water flow. So we will use different thermocouples or different sensors to calculate the temperature of hot water uh, at inlet as well as outlet, and in between at different points. Similarly, we will use thermocouples to measure the temperature of cold water at inlet, outlet, and in between at different points. So these are all the temperatures: ST1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up to so on. This is ST11, and ST1. This is the temperature sensor in the water tank. Water tank. I will show you when we will perform the experiment that it's a large tank with a in which we will fill the water, and we will heat that water, and that water tank will be used to provide the supply of hot water actually. So ST2, this is the cold water temperature at the exchanger inlet or outlet. Similarly, this ST3, ST5, ST7, these are all the temperature sensors which will measure the values of hot water at different places at different phases. And ST4, ST6, and ST8 are the sensors which will measure the values of cold water temperature at different phases or at different distances. So ST9 will measure the value of temperature of hot water at exchanger outlet, and ST10 will measure the value of temperature of cold water at the inlet or exhaust. So similarly, we have different kind of water flow sensors, SC1 and STC2. SC1 will measure the flow rate of hot water, and SC2 will measure the flow rate of cold water. So now we will move towards it is some useful data. The exchanger length is 1.5 meter. So some diameter of tubes are given. We will use all of these values to calculate the different parameters. And one important thing I will mention here, that we need to calculate actually the mass flow rate of hot water as well as cold water. So in order to calculate the mass flow rate, we have the formula here written here, that is a density of water, and we will multiply this density with the flow rate that we will measure in the experiment. this density that will be in kilogram per meter cube unit, and this SC, this is basically flow rate in liter per minute. So in order to convert the values of unit into kilogram per second, and we will measure the mass flow rate, and we just in order to convert the units, we will divide the whole values with 60,000. So at the end, we will use this formula to measure the mass flow rate of hot water, mH in kilogram second, and as well as for cold water, mc, c for cold and h for hot, that is will also be in kilogram per second. Now from where we will get the values of the density and this SC. As SC, that is a flow rate. I already have mentioned that we will measure it through sensors during the experiment. And this density, basically this density value that we will get from internet sources or from literature or from tables given at the end. Density of water changes with temperature. So for hot water, we will measure the average temperature of hot water. And how we will measure the average temperature? It is written here as ST3 plus ST9 over 2. ST3 is the temperature of hot water at inlet, and ST9 is the temperature of hot water at outlet. So we will divide it by 2 and we will get its average hot water temperature. Similarly, cold water temperature average value, it is ST2, that is the cold water at inlet, and ST8, that is at outlet, and we will divide it by 2 and we will get the average value. So we will use these average values of temperatures to get the density, specific heat and dynamic viscosities of water at hot temperature as well as at cold temperature, hot average temperature and cold average temperature. And then we will use all of these values in this equation of mass flow rate, and we will get the mass flow rate of hot water as well as cold water. So these are some schematic diagram which are just provided to show you that how we will convert the flow into parallel flow and then counter flow. So these all are also in the form of sticker. They are also pasted on the operator, so we can get the guidance from here. So now before going into detail, I will just show you how we will take the measured value into the table, and then after that we will perform the experiment in the laboratory, and then I will show you that how I will use these all values for our calculation purpose. So these are all the we will use the operators, and we will just measure the values of all of these temperatures. As I already have mentioned you that ST1, ST3, ST5, ST7, these are all temperatures related to hot water flow at different points. And similarly, ST2, ST4, these all even values, or these are all the sensors which will measure the temperatures of cold water flow at different positions. Similarly, this SC1 and this SC2, these are the values of flow rate of hot water as well as cold water. So this is that will be our first observation table. We will take 4 different kind of reading, and how we will take these 4 different kind of reading, we will just change the temperature of hot water. If for example we are taking the first reading on 50 or 55 degrees centigrade, then we will increase it respectively, and we will get that 4 different set of reading. And for the second objective, we will use the observation table. Here in the similar way, we will measure the same values, but now we will measure the values for the parallel flow as well as for anti-parallel flow as well. So we will use the walls to convert the flow into parallel flow. I will show you during the experiment, and then we will use the same walls. Some we will close some walls, and we will open some walls, and that flow will be converted to cross to anti-parallel flow. And we will measure the readings of both types of flows, and then we will list all of these readings here. So these are all just the observation table. Now we will move towards the lab, and we will perform these experiment. I will show you that how we will take these readings, and then after that experiment I will we will learn that how these observation values will be converted to some different parameters, and how will we measure the or how we will calculate the basically value of this LMTD, global heat transfer coefficient, and effectiveness. So before moving to lab, I will just like to tell you that these are all the operators which are working on the heavy voltages, and these are all heavy voltage equipment, and we will have to take care about all of the safety precautions related to electrical equipment safety measures. So we will use all the personal protection equipment, and we will analyze the situation of all the sockets and switches in the lab, so that they all will be able to bear the heavy loads of these apparatuses. So let's move towards the lab, and we will learn how to perform this experiment on turbulent flow heat exchanger. Okay, in the lab, this is the turbulent flow heat exchanger. You can see its side view, and from the top view, we will observe it. These are all the different tubes in which the flow of hot water and cold water occur. You can see different types of these sensors. These are all placed here on different places. These are all, and wires are attached to these all of sensors. This is ST1 and this is ST6. These odd number like ST1, ST3, ST5, these just measure the temperatures of hot water at different places, and the even number like ST2, ST4 and ST6, they are measure the temperature of cold water at different places. So we will attach it with the main console unit, and then we will perform the experiment. Okay everyone, now we are in the lab, and this is the main console basically we are using here. We have 4 different kind of heat exchangers here, and this main console, it is used with all of the heat exchangers. We connect this main console with all other units with some flexible tubes, and you can see different valves are here, and this is the main tank in which we fill the water, and we just heat this water and we get the hot water from it. And sensor is there in this hot tank as well, which different sensors. One sensor is for temperature measurement, and second sensor is for its level measurement. What is the level of water in this hot tank? And this is the front view. You can see that different walls are here, and different sensors are also placed here. These sensors are of different types. Some measure temperature, some measures flow. So these are all valves, and this is the hot tank in which we have filled the water, and we will heat that water, and we will provide the supply of water. This is the computer unit and interface. We have attached this interface with this main console. So now what we are doing, that we are just attaching this main console with our heat exchanger through these flexible tubes. So the person, he is just using the wrench, and he is just connecting the main console with the given heat exchanger, that is a turbulent flow heat exchanger. So he will connect all of these 4 wires to provide the flow of water across the heat exchanger. So there will be 2 kind of flow of water. One will be hot water, and the second will be cold water. And cold water we will supply here through the hydraulic bench. After this attachment, we will also attach the hydraulic bench to this apparatus, and we will provide the supply of cold water flow. So now he is just in the phase to attach the main console unit with the heat exchanger. This is the final wire he is just connecting. After this, the water flow will flow from the main console to the heat exchanger, and then we will be able to get the readings of temperatures at different places of heat exchanger for hot water as well as for the cold water. So now he is attaching the hydraulic bench to provide this the flow of cold water. And the flow of hot water and cold water will be provided to the main console. So this is the water, one pipe is for water inlet and second pipe is for water outlet. So this cold water can flow in both the direction. We will use here two techniques. One is for parallel flow and second one is for anti-parallel flow. So now this is the main computer in which we have installed the software, and this software is basically the company is Edibon, which has provided all of these softwares. So different heat exchanger options are there. We will click the relevant, and now you can see that we will start this, and on the upper right corner of computer we will get the values of temperatures. So these are all temperatures which can be plotted on the graph as well. So now he just has started to heat the water from the hot tank. In the tank there is a water. We have provided it heat, and we can increase the value of heat provided to it. This.
Okay.
So now he is just adjusting the walls to make the flow parallel. First of all, he will open all the walls on the heat exchanger so that the flow of water from hot and cold side will be towards the heat exchanger, and now he will adjust the walls on main console unit to make it a parallel flow. So all the analogy that is written in manual, that to which wall we have to close or we have to open. So now he has converted this into a parallel flow, and we will measure the values of temperature from this computer unit, which is attached directly to the main console and as well as the heat exchanger. So in this way we will get the values of temperatures. Now we can change the heater value of hot water temperature. We can change the value of hot water temperature. For example, if first reading we have taken at 40 degree, we can take different readings on 50, 60 or 70 degree. Now he is converting it to anti-parallel flow. This is a counter parallel flow. He is just adjusting the walls. He is opening some walls and closing some walls, and now it is converted to anti-parallel flow. So now we again will start it from the software, and now we again will take the readings of temperatures for this anti-parallel flow. So temperatures can be plotted, and we will take the reading at different temperatures of hot water. For example, if we will take the first reading at 40 degree, then we may increase the temperature of hot water to 50 degree, 60 degree from this computer or software, and we will get the different values of temperatures against different values of hot water temperature. So this is all about how we will take the readings from this heat exchangers, and now I will explain you that how we will use these readings of parallel flow and anti-parallel flow temperature. These are all the temperature of different sensors on different places and some of these sensors are on the hot water side and some of these are on the cold water sides. So we will measure the values of temperatures of hot water and cold water at different stages, and then we will use all of these values to calculate our required parameters. So now I will move towards the lab manual and I will explain you how to calculate these values. Okay, coming back to the lab manual. Uh, on the observation table, we have got all of these values of temperature: ST1, ST2, ST3, up till ST11, and these are the different sensors placed on different points. The odd number of sensors, for example, ST1, ST3, ST5, they all represented the mostly values of hot water temperature, and the even side values like ST2, ST4, and ST6, they all show the values of temperature, cold water temperature. So we have got the values of all of these temperature as well as the flow rate of hot water and cold water. So now we will use all of these values to calculate the different parameters. We will use this table. This is the calculation table. First of all, we need to calculate the value of QH. QH basically representing how much heat is transferred by the hot water. So this QH, basically its formula is given here, MH into CPH into THI minus TH naught. Now this MH, this is the mass flow rate of hot water. We already have calculated it before performing the experiment. So we have got the value of this mass flow rate. CPH, we also had got the value. I can show you the table once again. We had got these values from the average hot water temperature and the average cold water temperature. That was the specific heat, dynamic viscosity, and density of hot and cold water. So we will use all of these values from this table to calculate the mass flow rate. So I am again moving towards the calculation table. So now in the similar way, as we have got the value of QH, we will get the value of QC from the this formula, that is MC, mass flow rate of cold water. We have got it from the table, and this is CPC. Again, we have got this from the table, and these values in the above formula for QH, the value of THI, that represent the hot water inlet temperature. So from all of these values, ST1, ST2, ST3, we already have mentioned on some page that which sensor represent the which area or which passage. So you can see that this ST3, basically this is the hot water sensor at the exchanger inlet. So that will be used as a THI. Similarly, you will say that cold water sensor, this ST4, this is cold water sensor between the first and second stage. So at different places, if you will talk about ST2, this is the cold water temperature sensor at the exchanger inlet or outlet, because hot water maintains its direction. It will enter from one inlet and it will exit from another side. But cold water can change the direction. We can change the direction of cold water flow. So if there will be a parallel flow, there will be one inlet and exit for the cold water, but for the anti-parallel flow, we will change its direction. So these all temperature, these represent the THI, hot water inlet, TH naught, hot water outlet, and similarly TCI, cold water inlet, and TCO, that is cold water outlet. So we will use these all values from these temperatures from this table here, and this is THI is basically representing the hot water inlet, and TH naught is basically representing the hot water outlet. So similarly, this TCO, this is cold water outlet, and TCI, this is cold water inlet. So these are all now at this time, these are our parallel flow. So when we will get the value of QH and QC, we will just take their difference, and that will be the QL. So in this table, basically we have got this QH, QC, and this is the difference QL. So this is the difference of heat transfer from hot to cold. Now next step is we have to calculate this logarithmic temperature mean difference between hot water and cold water, that is also abbreviated as LMTD. So for this purpose we need the value of delta T1 as well as delta T2. So if this is a parallel flow, and in this case it is parallel flow, we are not performing in this objective the counter parallel flow, but for counter parallel flow we may use the formulas as given here. So for parallel flow, the delta T1 will be THI minus TCI. THI represent hot water inlet and TCI represent cold water inlet. Similarly, delta 2 is TH naught hot water outlet and TCO cold water outlet. But if you will use it as a counter current flow, then you will use a delta T1 is THI minus TCO, THI hot water inlet and TCO cold water outlet. And similarly, delta T2 is TH naught minus TCI, that is TH naught is hot water outlet and TCI is cold water inlet. So now we have got the values of delta T1 and delta T2. We will use these values here in this formula, and then we will divide it by log delta T over delta T2, and that will be our LMTD, logarithmic temperature mean difference. So after getting this value, we have the formula for global heat transfer coefficient U. So total heat transfer, basically it is equal to the global heat transfer multiplied by area, and this area is basically average heat transfer area, and this delta TLM. So we have got the value of delta TLM, and we just will U dot A will be equal to Q over I will adjust this formula, and delta TLM will be divided by this Q. This small q, this is basically representing this capital Q, they are same. So we have got the value of this Q. We may use here the value of QH or QC. We may use both the values because heat transfer from hot water to cold water, that should be ideally same. So if we will divide it by delta Tm, we will get the value of U dot A. So finally, if I will get the value of this area, I will get the value of this U. And this area, basically its formula is pi LD, because this is the circumferential area of heat transfer. So this D is basically the average of internal plus external tube's diameter divided by 2. So these all diameter values are given, as I had mentioned in the start of experiment. We will use the values and we will get the value of this area. When we will use the value of this area here, we will get the value of this U, that is the actually global heat transfer coefficient. So that was the objective number 1. Our objective was to calculate the global heat transfer coefficient. And now because we have 4 set of values, so we will get the 4 values of these U. Ideally, these values should be equal, but actually there will be some differences of value, and we will perform some statistical analysis. I will mention that statistical analysis at the end of this experiment. So first of all, we are going to start the objective number 2, that is to calculate the exchanger effectiveness by using the NTU method. So now we had got the values from observation table. These are the same these were the same values ST1 to ST11 for test 1 and 2, but now we have different set of value. One values are we have got from the parallel flow heat transfer, and second one is from anti-parallel flow. So we will compute both of these values and we will get the required results. So this is the table what we have to calculate from observation table, and this epsilon, basically this represent the effectiveness. So the formula of effectiveness, there are 2 options. We will multiply this mass flow rate of hot water with its CPH value. Both are given. So if its value is less than the product of MC into CPC, mean cold water value, then we will use this above formula. And if its value of MH into CPH it is greater than MC into CPC, then we will use this value. So what is this value? Basically this value is a THI hot water inlet minus TH naught hot water outlet divided by THI hot water inlet minus TCO cold water outlet. And if you will use this formula, then this is TCO, cold water outlet minus TCI cold water inlet divided by THI hot water inlet divided by TCI cold water inlet. So you may use the values whatsoever is the case when you will compute these values, and you will get this effectiveness value. So finally, the remaining procedure is sufficiently same as we previously have done it. Heat transferred by the hot water, that is the product of MH into CPH THI minus TH naught. I already have used this formula. So this is mass flow rate, this is CPH, the value is given, and THI is basically hot water inlet and TH naught is hot water outlet. So you will use this formula and you will get this QH. Similarly, we will calculate the logarithmic temperature mean difference. I already have mentioned you that in case of parallel flow, you will use this formula for delta T1, and this one formula is given for delta T2. So some parameters will change for the counter current flow. Then some changing are for delta T1. For example, delta T1 for parallel flow is THI minus TCI, but for counter parallel, this is THI minus TCO. So similarly for delta T2, and we will use these values of delta T1 and delta T2 divided by log of delta T1 over delta T2, we will get this TLM or delta TLM. So finally, the same way we will get the U dot A value, and that will be Q over delta T, and this Q will be basically QH we have computed here, and this delta T is basically this TLM, and we will get the value of U dot A. So this is the similar way. Now we will use this for value of U dot A, and we will get the values of two U dot A, because in one set of values we are using the parallel flow, and in second set of values we are using the anti-parallel flow. So now we have to calculate the basically NTU value, number of transmission units, that is equal to this U dot A we have computed here, and we will divide it by MCP minimum. For example, we have two types of flow here. One is for hot water and second one is cold water. We will multiply this mass flow rate with CP value for both of them, and the value which will be the lesser one we will use here as a denominator. So then we will get this value of NTU. And next is the capacity coefficient. This is the ratio of basically MCP minimum over MCP maximum. So from the hot water and cold water, we will multiply the values of mass flow rate with CP, and the value which is less, that will be used as a numerator, and the value that is the maximum from both of them, that will be used as a denominator. So we will get this ratio of capacity coefficient. And finally, now we will use we will calculate the effectiveness again, but now we are using the NTU method. So finally, for parallel flow, the formula is given here, epsilon by NTU method, that is 1 minus E minus power NTU into 1 plus CR. So we have computed the value of NTU here, and this CR, that is capacity coefficient, we have computed the value over 1 plus CR. So we have all of these values, we can calculate this E NTU, epsilon NTU, sorry, effectiveness. And for cross current flow, the formula is given here, that is again 1 minus E power minus NTU into 1 minus C of R. These all values are given. You can see this CR is basically coefficient, capacity coefficient. NTU is basically number of transmission units, and divided by 1 minus CR into E power minus NTU into 1 minus CR. So all of these value we already have calculated. We will get the value of this effectiveness NTU for cross current flow. So now we have completed this table. You can see we have calculated this epsilon, QH, delta TLM, U dot A, NTU. This is capacity coefficient. This is epsilon by NTU. So for parallel flow, for cross current flow, we have computed all of these values. So now our experiment is almost complete. But finally, what we have to do, we have to perform some statistical analysis. What we will do in statistical analysis, basically like if we have got the value of 3 to 4 sets values. For example, in the objective 1, we have got the basically value of this global heat transfer coefficient U. So there were four set of readings. We will get the four values of U. So we will perform the statistical analysis on this U. What we will do, we will write here the U average. This X average is basically U average. That will be the sum of U1 plus U2 plus U3 plus U4, because we have computed four values, and we will divide it by N. That is number of values, a number of observation. These are four here. So we will get the average value of U. And similarly, we want to calculate the standard deviation. Its formula is the first value minus the average value we have got here. These X, basically X1 represent the first value of U. X2 represent the second value of U. X3 represent the third value of U. And there is fourth value also. So we will add another term here. So this is the difference of average from first value. This is difference of average from second, then third value, and then we also will add the fourth value. We will take their square and we will divide by N minus 1. N is 4 here because we have 4 number of observation or 4 set of readings. We will take its square root. We will get the standard deviation. So its value should be small. So there should be a less standard deviation. And at the final, we have to draw the graph. For the graphs, basically on y-axis we will take the value of temperature. Basically we have observed the value of temperature from ST1, ST2, ST3, ST4 up to ST10 or 11. So some of them represent the hot water temperatures and some represent the cold water temperature. So we will take all of those temperatures on y-axis, and at x-axis we will take the position of all of these sensors. The total length of the exchanger is 1.5 meter. And there are 4 different sensors of hot water and 4 different sensors of cold water. They are all at different positions and they are all at equidistant position. So their positions are also given in manual. So you can use all of those positions on x-axis, and you will plot the graph of all of those temperatures of cold water flow and hot water flow on the y-axis. So that was all about the experiment related to the turbulent flow heat exchanger. In the coming experiments, we will also use the other type of heat exchanger, and we will see the difference between them. Thank you very much for attending the session.